Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts. Here is my observation of why Democrats keep using lawfare against Trump. 1. All small business ownership will be erected. Unlike the Obama era of My Brother's Keeper initiative, which hasn't erected a large number of African American small business owners, the Democratic Party's job is to keep you poor so citizens will sell their souls to get by. My point is the Democrat Party doesn't want its whole black voting bloc to go to Trump, thus still blocking the black vote. Joe Biden's polls are down, and after the Trump verdict, they will be underneath the ground hilariously. Let us take a look at the past. Malcolm X warned African Americans years ago, and it fell on deaf ears. Here are Malcolm X's thoughts on the election of 1964. Certainly, Malcolm X delivered a powerful speech titled "The Ballot or the Bullet" on April 12, 1964, at King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan. In this speech, he addressed the political landscape during an election year where Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson was running for re-election against Republican candidate Barry Goldwater won. Malcolm X criticized Black Americans who gave 80% of their vote to the Democratic Party in 1964. He referred to them as political chumps and traitors to their race for supporting a party that claimed to support civil rights but had not taken genuine action to pass relevant legislation to. He emphasized that the Negro vote was a key factor in putting Democrats in the White House, and he urged his audience to consider whether they were truly benefiting from their political choices. Malcolm X believed that the ballot, voting, or the bullet, direct action, were the options available to Black Americans for achieving their rights and equality. 3. His speech highlighted the urgency of political engagement and the need for Black empowerment, challenging the status quo and demanding real change. Malcolm X's words resonate today as a call for critical thinking and active participation in the democratic process. The pandemic was a taking hostage of the dwindling Black vote as the descendants of African Americans that Malcolm spoke to in 1964 about the Democrat Party. Malcolm was killed directly after this speech exactly 10 months later, on February 12, 1965. Remember the 12th day of April 1964 and February 12, 1965. Malcolm X, a truth-teller, shot after the FBI infiltrated the Nation of Islam with Black informants created by J. Edgar Hoover. Tragically, Malcolm X was assassinated on February 12, 1965, just months after delivering this speech. As he prepared to speak at an Organization of Afro-American Unity, OAU, rally at the Audubon Ballroom in New York, 3 men, members of the Nation of Islam, rushed at him, firing several shots, at least one of which was fatal. The justice system began profiling any Black truth-teller. Censorship started in the USA. Trump is a symbol of control over property, the bodies of Black people. Remember when Democrats did not want Blacks to vote? Black voters were systematically turned away from state polling places. To combat this problem, Congress passed the 15th Amendment in 1870. It says, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude." Yet states still found ways to circumvent the Constitution and prevent Blacks from voting. Poll taxes, literacy tests, fraud, and intimidation all turned African Americans away from the polls. Until the Supreme Court struck it down in 1915, many states used the grandfather clause to keep descendants of slaves out of elections. The clause said you could not vote unless your grandfather had voted, an impossibility for most people whose ancestors were slaves. As we come back to reality, history repeats itself. The Trump case is the same to stop the fleeting Democratic base. They use people like Alvin Bragg, Joy Reid, Fani Willis, Letitia James, and Jack Smith to use dog whistles to say he is a threat to democracy. They are using the Black vote as a shield to protect Democrats from prosecution for decades of abuse of the Black vote. Abortion and women's rights are shoved down the public's throats. When in all honesty, abortion is not causing gas prices to skyrocket, job closure, or a rise in crime, especially against women. What we have is a narcissistic government obsessed with greed, which creates a narcissistic citizenry who has thrown God and morals out of the window for sex, drugs, and money, a proverbial hell. Democrats are attempting to circumvent the black vote again. Doug Wilder during the midterm in 2021 stated that without the black vote in Virginia, Democrats would not win. No Virginian running for statewide office is going to be elected without strong black support, he said. And what has anybody done in Virginia to merit that? Panic set in. The FBI attempted to threaten parents in Loudoun County, Virginia for disagreeing with whom teaches their children. Since 2021, Joe Biden has seen the horizon setting on his dead presidency. His last attempt is to scare voters into thinking they can prison competition, leaving us no choice. African American history was used in this demonstration because they were the first group to be injured by the Democratic Party. They were beaten and killed if they didn't vote. Democrat like Medgar Evers, a black civil rights activist killed in the South. The movie Mississippi Burning was a story of this tragedy. The African American race has already seen this type of evil practiced by Democrats. It's déjà vu and nostalgic to them. Wake up, America, save your country, for it's the only place you will be free.